Hello everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interest. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we talked about the new CBI exchange rates, the oil and gas law, U.S.-Iraqi Strategic Framework Agreement. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Al-Frat News reports the new Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani met this morning with U.S. Senate Chris Van Hollen on the sidelines of the participating in the Munich Security Conference. A statement by Prime Minister's office said that the meeting discussed joint cooperation relations between Iraq and the United States of America and ways to consolidate them in several fields. The meeting also dealt with Iraq's continuous efforts in combating terrorism and extremism and confirming the support for economic reforms adopted by the current government and paths it follows in implementing its government programs. Twilight News reported the official spokesman for the federal government, Bassem al-Awadi, announced today the adoption of the official exchange rate of the dollar against the dinar at all Iraqi airway outlets. Al-Awadi says in a statement today that direct and serious work has been done to solve the problem of the exchange rate in Iraqi Airways tickets. He added that starting today, the official exchange rate of 1320 dinars was adopted at all ports of Iraqi Airways. For his part, the Director General of the General Company of Iraqi Airways, Karim Kazem Hassan, issued a directive to sell tickets in Iraqi dinars instead of dollars. The official rate was set by the management of the Central Bank of Iraq. Last January, the Central Bank of Iraq decided to include banks allowed to participate in the electronic platform and wishing to participate in the sales of cash dollars for travel, treatment, and studied purposes. The bank's directive, government banks Al Rafidain, Al Rashid, Train Bank of Iraq, the TBI, to expand the outlets of selling cash dollars to passengers at the country's airports, Baghdad, Basra, Najaf, Erbil, and Sulaymiya. The central bank, in co-operations with federal governments, has issued strict instructions to curb smuggling of hard currencies out of the country. Baghdad Magazine News reported the Kyrgyzstan regional government announced Thursday that it's seeking satisfactory solutions with the federal government on the oil and gas law, while noting that there are positive understandings with the central government on the budget law for the current year. Government spokesman Adel said during a press conference that the territorial government is committed to the provisions of the Constitution, noting that there are good understandings between the governments of the center and regional, especially with regards to the subject of the budget law for the current year. He explained that the region has put forward its point of view on the oil and gas law, and there is seriousness on the part of the two parties to resolve the issues, expressing his hope to become satisfactory solutions in accordance with the Constitution. He also stressed the seriousness of the Kyrgyzstan's regional government in reaching an agreement with Baghdad, explaining some issues that need to be resolved and discussed. He continued on saying that there is an agreement between the office and the financial supervision in the region and the center as they provide with the private data, and there is progress in this area. Al-Frat News reported an informed source reveals the imminent expansion of the outlets for selling the dollar at the official price of 1320 dinars. The source told Euphrates News soon the outlets for selling dollars to citizens, to government banks, and other parties will be expanded to include commercial centers, malls, and other places. He pointed out that the imminent assurance of the new package of measures of the Central Bank of Iraq to control the exchange rate, including the movement of transactions in dinars in all fields instead of the dollar with regards to buying and selling. The government of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali al-Alaq, announced 2 days ago that the bank will issue a number of instructions and directives to banks and other financial institutions in order to make things clear and easy so that they can access the platforms as soon as possible. The faster you join the platforms, the more there is balance between supply and demand, he says. He pointed out that the official price should not exceed 1320 dinars against the dollar in the markets. We believe that there is no reason or justification to sell the dollar for more than this price. Twilight News reports a senior government source revealed on Thursday new details about the terms of the recent Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Iraqi government and the American company General Electric GE. After signing the Memorandum of Understanding with the German company Siemens last January, according to the source who spoke to Shafaq News, the government's direction, including contracting with sober international companies, manufacturing equipment such as Siemens, in addition to GE, noting that the signing of the Memorandum of Principles of the Cooperating with GE aims to address the obstacles that face the procedures for implementing projects that have already been included in the Memorandum of Cooperating signed between the ministry. He explained that the obstacles that accompanied the previous understanding related to the inability to finance fossil fuel projects through the stabilization of projects including in the ministry's plan, which will contribute to increasing energy production and reducing severe shortages in the energy process, as well as addressing bottleneck in the transport sector, improving the efficiency of performance of units currently operating and establishing a control center for them. The government source indicated that contracting with GE for long-term maintenance work with a period of 5 years to maintain the work of the energy production units equipped by the company and to increase the efficiency of work of the energy production units currently operating through the modernization of systems attached to them, in addition to conducting studies to exploit associated gas. Earlier in the day, the Ministry of Electricity signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the American company General Electric GE with the framework of the government program aimed at development of electricity sector in Iraq under the advocacy of Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, according to the statement by Prime Minister's office in response to Shafaq News. Twilight News reports the Iraqi and U.S. government issues on Wednesday a joint statement of the U.S.-Iraqi Supreme Coordination Committee, which includes a number of agreements and understandings. The statement, which was received by Shafaq News Agency, said that the Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Fahad Hassan headed the delegation of the Republic of Iraq, and the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken and delegations of the United States is a meeting of Higher Coordination Committee in accordance with the 2008 Strategic Framework Agreement on the friendship and cooperation relations between the United States of America and the Republic of Iraq. The two delegations renewed their determination to deepen the strategic relationships between the two countries through a full range of bilateral issues for the national interest of each of the two countries and their common interests in the regional stability. The statement pointed out that the meeting is the first meeting of the Supreme Coordination Committee focused on economic cooperation, energy sector development, and climate change, which is a sign of the mature strategic partnership under the Strategic Framework Agreement. The Iraqi delegation included high-level representatives from the House of Representatives, the Central Bank, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Oil, the Ministry of Planning, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Electricity, the Prime Minister's Office, Iraq's Climate Envoy, and the Kyrgyzstan regional government. The U.S. delegation, along with the State Department, included USAID President Samantha Powers, Special President Climate Change Envoy John Kerry, Deputy Treasury Secretary, Special Presidential Coordinator for Global Energy and Infrastructure, Global Anti-Corruption Coordinator Richard Nephew, Middle East National Security Council Coordinator Brett McGurk, and senior officials from the State Department, Treasury, Energy, and commerce. The two sides discussed the challenges facing the Iraqi economy, including parallel exchange rate markets. The United States welcomes the Iraqi government's effort to enact economic reforms as well as monetary policy reform, monitoring the banking and financial sector, combating corruption, and preventing manipulation of financial systems. Actions that would help boost the Iraqi economy's prospects, including strengthening financial and exchange markets. The U.S. delegation renewed its support for Iraq's ongoing efforts to build technical capabilities and implement international standards to protect the banking system from financial crime, money laundering, and terrorist financing. The two sides also affirmed their determination to continue working together to modernize the financial system in Iraq in order to improve the conditions of the Iraqi people. The U.S. and Iraqi delegations reiterated the same views that pursuing the ambitious energy independence agenda is essential to maximizing Iraq's economic prosperity and protect its sovereignty. The two companies' delegation agreed that Iraq has historic opportunities to invest in energy infrastructure initiatives designed to improve electricity services to the Iraqi people, secure energy self-sufficiency for Iraq, and a mitigate environmental damage to both the global climate and economic public health. To end, the two sides decided to accelerate efforts to capture burning gas, modernize the natural gas distribution infrastructure, reduce methane leaking, regional connectivity to Iraqi electricity grid, modernize Iraq's electricity infrastructure, and explore renewable energy opportunities. The U.S. delegation praised Iraqi's commitment to the regional electricity interconnection project with Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the GCC Electricity Interconnection Authority. Discussions also stressed the importance of the need for ambitious solar farms projects and establish a regulatory framework to attract investment in renewable energy. The two sides also discussed the water crisis in Iraq, and the United States expressed its intentions to continue its technical assistance to improve water management practice in Iraq. The United States calls on Iraq to nominate experts in water management to participate in the exchange program with U.S. leaders in the field, and the two delegations stressed the importance of benefiting from modern technical in groundwater management and irrigation efficiency. The United States welcomes positive development in relations between the federal government in Iraq and the Kurdistan Regional Government and ongoing negotiations of the 2023 federal budget and hydrocarbon laws. The United States assured the Iraqi delegation that the U.S. private sector is the best in technology and the unique ability to meet Iraqi's energy challenges. The Iraqi American Business Council also hosted a roundtable for the Iraqi delegation with 40 American companies and industry leaders who are experts in the field of gas captured, modernization of electricity infrastructure, and renewable energy sources. After the event, the Chamber of Commerce announced that it would lead the 2 U.S. trade missions to Iraq in June to explore investment opportunities. In addition, the two delegations indicated the intentions of the Office of the Trade Representatives of the United States and the Iraqi Ministry of Commerce to begin planning for the meeting of the Trade and the Investment Framework Agreement Council in 2023. The agreement between the United States and Iraq serves as a forum to resolve trade obstacles and promote investment and bilateral trade opportunities between the two countries. The U.S. delegation announced that the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad has gradually begun providing visa services to non-immigrants. The United States and Iraq confirmed that they plan to hold meetings of joint coordination committees under the Strategic Framework Agreement. In addition, meetings of higher coordination committees to follow up on investment in energy and the economy and the climate discussion held during these meetings of the Higher Coordination Committee. The U.S. and Iraqi delegation affirmed their determination to strengthen the strategic relationship between the two countries. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith, your Middle East, U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics Iraq. I bring you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always leave a super thanks. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar news. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.